I feel like the right and only answer here is a boo, because that guy is going to shove that tongue down your throat deep, and
How
he's
do
going to get some good action in there.
but when you look at him, he's just gonna clam up. And then it's all
That's true.
so you're gonna have to turn away from him, and you know what that means.
He's going to be licking my asshole.
And sit down.
What is going on, dads? And welcome to episode 16 of the Dads After Dark Show, recorded on Sunday, August 2nd, 2020. We're your hosts, Drew and John, and thank you for joining us tonight for some Nintendo and Viagra. John, what a week it has been. What a 2 weeks it has been, really. What have you been up to? You celebrated your wife's birthday. You know, we're still in this pandemic. An amazing Nintendo game came out. But what else has been going on?
Viagra, huh? Are you on that right now?
No need for this guy. I'll tell you that much.
I felt like I missed something. No, I've had a good couple weeks in COVID lockdown again. I just finishing up a little 5-day break. I took a few days off of work because my boss is like, you guys should take time off, and it's one of those tough things where you want to save up your time off because there's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do. But I think we're kind of hitting that time where, okay, I've accepted the fact there's nothing to do. But I'm so stressed out. My face is still all broken out. I'm just going crazy inside. So I took a little 5-day break, played a bunch of Paper Mario, which we'll talk about later. And, I had a good relaxing time. We celebrated a birthday and had a plumber over, that sort of thing.
That's never good.
Yeah. So how about you? You took a little break as well.
I took a couple days off as well. Nothing crazy. Did some golfing. The 1-day trip we were supposed to have, it actually ended up pouring and thundering out, so we didn't really get to do that. But we made the best of it, Like you said, it's a stressful time. The weather is nice. We try to do stuff outside, whether it's, on the playground or the pool or water balloons or whatever, not with the kids. We're having fun. Last night, though, John, the wife and I got the kids down. We're like, let's watch a movie tonight. So we were flicking around. What should we want to watch? And we went back and forth, and we decided to watch, I believe you've seen it, Parasite.
Yes.
Academy Award-winning movie.
So good.
It was, it does have subtitles out there. Anyone doesn't know what it's about. And I didn't really know what it was about, to be honest. You hear the word parasite, and you're like, oh, is this about like some type of illness or virus? You don't really know. Mm-hmm. And so I went in it kind of a little bit of cold, knowing it was supposed to be a very good movie, and loved it. I thought it was great. It was like the quirkiness is the perfect amount of comedy and thriller and suspense and almost at the same time nothing happening, where it was awesome. I will say, when we went to bed after the movie, I did try to rub my wife's nipples in the clockwise rotation, but it didn't quite work like it does in the movie, John. Oh, boy. But
nipple rubbing aside.
Nipple rubbing aside.
I love that movie. And that's actually good that you went in blind, because I had heard people saying, don't look up what it's about or whatever. And it took a while to finally watch it. And right? What was the genre? Was that horror?
It was like the non-suspense of like, something. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody. That something's going to happen to the family. Something's going to happen. But you're like, when, how, who, what? Right. And then the last like 45 minutes took a turn for like, what the fuck? But in a good way. Yeah. So that's Parasite. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we
can't recommend that. Can't recommend that one enough. And my favorite thing is, like, we have seen there's just not really creative movies coming out, and obviously we're in an age of like Marvel movies and superhero everything and remakes and stuff like that, but it's original. So nice from time to time to see it, just a nice story told. And sometimes these movies, look, I will admit, I enjoyed The Happening, with Mark Wahlberg back in the day. I was a big fan of Shyamalan. And I was only very saddened by the movie in the last 5 minutes, the ending.
Yeah.
I was like on the edge of my seat that entire time, and then it burst that bubble, and then the whole movie was ruined after that. And
well, you must have liked The Village then.
I love The Village.
And now did the end didn't ruin it for you? And no.
No, oh no, I absolutely love The Village.
So here's the thing. For me, I was probably young when that movie came out. And I was young in the sense of probably like high school where, you know, you go to the movies because you want to see this thriller and you love it and you eat that shit up. And then the end, and it was like, what the fuck? That's stupid. Why would you do that? But then as I got older, John, I looked back at it and I'm like, no, you know what? That's pretty badass. That makes a lot more sense now, you know? It's deeper than that thriller of a movie. It's a lot deeper. So, yeah, I mean, great. I mean, there's great conversation, some good movies. Yeah. But, let's talk video games now. Let's do that because I think we're a video game podcast. Let's see what we got. What do you want to go first? You want me to go first? What do we got?
Before we get into anything, I just wanted to say this got shared in our Discord, but one of the more interesting little things that came out in these last couple of weeks is the Stardew Valley Collector's Edition. And I just bring it up because there's a lot of fans of Stardew Valley. And I was going to pass on this thing. I'm not sure if you've played Stardew Valley. You know, I don't know if it's your kind of game.
I never have. I kind of always want to. Then I'm like, I know I'm going to get into that rabbit hole and I'm not sure I want to.
Yeah. And it's one of those games that's so big, everyone talks about it. It's like, you got to try it.
I respect it. I respect the concept.
It's one of those games for me where I love it. I think it's brilliant, but it's not my genre. So whenever I play it, so when it first came out, I got into it. I played it for a little bit and then I stopped. And then like a week later, I said, let me try it again. And I reset my save data and I started all over. And then it just like hooked me. But they had a little bug where every day that went by, it saved your game data and it took forever. It was like 45 seconds to save your game. And eventually I just like fell out of it after a couple of game months. And then I started it again like 4 or 5 months ago. They added co-op play.
Now, isn't your wife a big player? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
This is the kind of game my wife should love. And she didn't really get into it, but she's a huge Animal Crossing fan. I think she loves these kind of games. Okay. And she didn't get too into it. I think it's just because it was different than Animal Crossing. But it's really, really good. And I think it's a game that you should play a little bit, stop, reset, start at the beginning again, because you almost like need to play the game for a couple hours as a tutorial to understand what this game is and what you should be doing, and then reset and start again. It also has a very weird quirk where, it has like a game clock. It's not real time like Animal Crossing, but it's very quick. You have you have the game clock, and then you have energy for the day, and your energy will run really low pretty quickly because you're doing a lot of like clearing of your farm when you start the game off, and your days are like you just clear off the farm and you play for like a minute and a half, and then your day is ending, and it's like, what the heck? Like, I just started. But it's a game that I think you get rewarded if you give it a few tries before giving it your all. And so they added co-op last year or something, and co-op is so much fun because you just play your own copy of the game and you just sync up on Wi-Fi or whatever, and you're literally playing in the same day, but you can do different things. So one of you can go mining while one of you tends to the farm, or one of you goes fishing, because one of the things when you play is you have a day, and you really shouldn't stress out about this game, but you're like, should I go fishing today? Should I go to the mines today? Should I go farm? Should I work on my relationships? And there's so many opposing forces, you get a little stressed out. So playing co-op, if you or your wife could play co-op or something, I mean, it's such a blast. And you actually share money. You share your money. There's certain things you share, and then certain things you don't share. But you build an island specifically for co-op play. Don't like invite someone to your island. And it's so much fun. And I wish my wife would like play with me, but she's just not into it. But yeah, no, I'm totally going to get into it again. But they're putting out a collector's edition. It's got the big box, the manual, a standee, all the little doodads. Really cool. It's out by Fangamer. It's still available. You can grab it. I think I definitely recommend it. Yeah, really nice. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then the Nintendo Lego sets came out finally. Was that yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, it came out yesterday. Did you grab one?
So, John, super excited. I love Legos. I've always loved Legos. My wife loves them. My kids, everybody in my family loves them. Lego, actually, right? Lego, is that the correct plural verb? Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Lego. It's not Legos.
Lego my Lego.
Sure. Anywho, 100%. Yesterday morning, woke up. First thing I did was hop on my phone and I purchased the NES set with the TV and the console. Done. Ordered, waiting for it to show up at my house. Now the other one, the Super Mario Collection, which is more of an interactive. You got the Mario Bluetooth character.
Right.
Those always, they announced those months ago, right? Always thought they were cool, and I always said to myself, well, they're not something that really you can go put on your shelf and enjoy looking at, right? It's just they're more of an interactive play set. So I wasn't really gonna get them. And then August 1st came, and I'm like, oh man, the Mario Legos are out. Hey Amy, let's just go to Target. You know, we gotta do our shopping and stuff, and you know, let's see if they have the Legos there. So sure enough, John, we go. They have them, and I'm like a little kid in the candy aisle. I'm like, oh, look at this, they got that, they got everyone, they had all the collections. So I was like, well, you have to get the starter set. That's where they get you, because you have to get the starter set because you need the Mario.
Correct.
And they make sure they say on all of them, you need the Mario one. So I found the Mario, grabbed that. And I was like, well, let's get one more. You know, might as well get another one. So there's small ones, which are like $20. And then there's like a $40 one. My kid wanted, my son loves Bullet Bill. So he's like, I want the Bullet Bill one. So it was like $40. And I'm like, okay. But then they have like this massive one. That's like the biggest one. And it's only $60. And the Bullet Bill one was tiny. And the big one is like Toad's house, where it comes with like, it's 3 different Toad houses. It comes with Toadette, you know, Toad, a Goomba, 2 Cheep Cheeps. It comes with like a bunch of stuff. So I was like, even my wife was like, well, for $20, I feel like we should just get that massive one. So we got that one as well. So we got the original set and then the Toad house set. I'm not really sure exactly what it's called. So we go home. You know, we picked up food on the way home. Of course, the kids wants to play immediately. We ate our food, ate our lunch. And then they were like, all right, well, Daddy, you build this one. Mommy, you build this one. So that way we can play quicker. I said, okay. And actually, my daughter, who sits, she started building this. It's kind of like the first Lego that she really wanted to build. And she was killing it. She did awesome. I'm so proud of her. But here's the cool thing with this. So I've had a lot of Legos in the past. This is the first time I ever bought a Lego. And the first thing it tells you to do is download an app. That's you have to do. There's no booklet. You download the app. The app is called Lego Super Mario. You download the app. Then it says first thing to do is build your Mario, and then you have to connect your Mario. The Mario needed an update, of course, because that's what Nintendo's famous for. And then the app was a little confusing in the beginning, and then I learned it fast. And then it has like a step-by-step visual how to build your set. And then it has videos to show you what it does. So whatever you just built, you push play, and then it wants you to do it. So you have to take the Mario, you do it, and it interacts with your phone. So when I jump on a warp pipe, my phone knows I just jumped on a warp pipe. It shows the video that I'm doing it correctly. It's really, really well done. I was very impressed. So we did the whole thing. We built it. We built both of them. My kids played with them, John, for 4 straight hours. Like, obsessed with them, like from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock until like right after lunch to dinner time. They absolutely loved it. They were making it their own thing. They started getting my little plushy stuffed animals and like interacting them. They made it a big deal, and they absolutely played Mario for 4 straight hours. I could not complain. It was in heaven watching them do it. So here's my final verdict on these things. It's very cool. Like, we had the iPad set up. So what it does is when you create your login, if you already have a Lego login, you can link it. And every time you do an obstacle course or you jump on a Goomba, or they have Bowser Jr. also came with the set. So, you know, you jump on him, you get coins. It tallies up all of your coins right on the iPad. So it plays the music on the iPad. It knows what you're doing, and it updates on the iPad as you go.
So the music that you hear when you hear like sound effects and stuff? Where does that come from? The app or the Mario?
So it comes from the Mario.
Okay.
The Mario 100% is a speaker. It's very well made. It's very well done. I mean, Lido and Nintendo, you put those together, perfect combo. Very well done. So that definitely has the little screen. It shows coins. It interacts with all your little codes that are there. That works well. It plays sound effects and music. But the iPad, if you have that just linked, you don't even need the iPad or your phone. But if you have that linked up at the same time, it will play the music. And for example, when you go on the flagpole at the end of the level, like the flag shows up on the iPad and it makes the noise, and it also adds a lot of stuff. So very cool feature. My final verdict would be this. If I did not have kids, I most likely would not have purchased this. And I'll be completely honest. The Mario figure itself is very cool. And from what I understand, it interacts with the NES set that I also purchased. So,
whoa, you bought the NES set too.
Oh yeah, that's I ordered that on Lego.com. I'm waiting for that to come.
Oh, okay.
So, for those that don't know, if you put the Mario figure on top of the TV of the NES set and you crank the box to make it move, it plays the sound effects through the Mario. So super cool.
Yeah.
But my point is, if you're just buying this as a collector or you want to build it and put it on your shelf, I will say it's probably not for you. It doesn't really, I feel like, stand on its own well. Like, it's not really a display piece. It's definitely meant to be played with 100%. And they're not cheap, right? Yeah. I think the starter set was 50 or 60, and I think the other collection I bought was 60 or 70. So I dropped a lot of money on this. And then the NES set, I'm like $400 in the hole.
Yeah.
They're definitely not cheap. But very cool, very well done. Well done Nintendo. Well done Lego. That they killed it, I think, from the, like I said, my kids played for it for 4 hours straight.
Yeah.
What else would I ask for?
And I'll come at it from the other angle. When I saw this set introduced, I was initially like, I'm not really interested in that. And then the NES set, I was like, I want that, right? Like, I think any retro collector is like, I want the NES set. And I see a lot of these toys as, what do I want to have on my desk? I have a bunch of desk toys, and I like to change it up from time to time. And so when the NES set finally went on sale, like the night before, so it was like July 31st, I guess, I was like ready to buy it. And then, by the time it's like $250, right?
So you didn't do it?
So it's Lego. And so these things aren't going to sell out. And so I decided I'm going to just wait for a more time appropriate time to get it. So I'm going to put it on my Christmas list. And I'll get it then. I didn't want to drop $250 for a Lego set in August. But I definitely want it later. But here's the thing. Last night, I think it was, I did buy the Mario set. And what's funny is that it was $60, and suddenly $60 didn't seem so expensive. When the first time I heard that price, I was like, "Ooh, $60 for that." Then it's like, "Ooh, $60 versus $250. That's a good deal. That's me being a good consumer."
You got to remember too, it's very different. Like I said, the $60 set, you're going to build that in a half hour, and then what do you do with it?
It's not even like a set, really. It's like a level. So you're not building this like car or house or something like that. But here's the thing. I want it for my desk. And you kind of mentioned like a collector putting it on your shelf or whatever. Mm-hmm. I want to have it on my desk. And from time to time, I'm going to wake little Mario up and shake him around. I heard like if you can spin him and he gets dizzy and all that.
Yep. He goes to sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to take a little part of the set. I don't know which, but I'm going to take a little part of the set and put it on my desk and then take the rest and I'll put it somewhere. I'll decorate something or whatever. But I'm going to have a little piece. I'm going to have the Mario and a little piece of the set on my desk. Yeah. And I'll play with Mario from time to time.
You'll have Bowser Jr. You put him right next to it.
I didn't know. Cool. Yeah, I didn't know I didn't know Bowser Jr. was in it until I was ordering it. So I'll definitely have both.
And a Goomba. Goomba comes with it as well.
Goomba. Yeah, so I'm excited for it. And then eventually, I'm going to get that NES set and then just clear my desk of everything and just have that beautiful thing.
It is cool. The Mario is very cool to do that. Well, John, I do need to say 48 hours after the NES Lego has almost been on sale, it is sold out. So if you want it, you can't get it.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be sold out for very long.
It will come back.
I'm glad to see it selling. So that's good. But don't freak out. This isn't like an NES classic. It'll come back probably pretty quickly. So, yeah, I'll wait. It won't go on sale, that's for sure. But
it does say temporarily out of stock.
Yeah, they're building it right now in Sweden or wherever they do. Norway? Where's Lego? It's one of those countries.
They're all the same, sure.
Yeah, the elves are there. All right, Drew, what do you say we answer the question we ask every episode? What have you been playing?
What have we been playing? Well, any Nintendo fan out there has been probably playing maybe only 2 games. And those 2 games are Paper Mario, Origami King, and maybe Animal Crossing still, and due to the new update. And John, I think we both know Animal Crossing, the hustle is dead. It's no longer there for me. I am curious to go back to my island. I heard that the weed infestation is crazy, and I heard the cockroaches are crazy.
Drew,
I'm afraid to see what it's going to be like.
I played Animal Crossing last night. I hadn't played in a month, but I wanted to try the dreaming thing out. So let me start here with a little Animal Crossing for you.
Yeah,
fill you in what's going on. So we recently had an update with Animal Crossing. What did they add? They added dreams. They added some other stuff. You have the August bugs and fish. And
I never even played the swimming update, John.
Oh, you haven't done this? Okay, yeah, it's fun. It's definitely fun. Once diving into the water is a hootenanny. It's really good. But yeah, even my wife has way slowed down on Animal Crossing. She played through Ori and the Will of the Wisps on my Xbox, and it took her 2.5 weeks. I actually traded my Xbox upstairs to our bedroom so she can play it up there. And I had the PS4 in my room, and then I played through The Last of Us, which we talked about last time. And then I was like, okay, are you done yet? And she was like, she hadn't started, and then she was going to. Anyway, I just got my Xbox back today. Very excited. Anyway, Animal Crossing. So I did the dream thing last night. And here's what's cool about the dreams. Basically, you get the letter, you get a bed, and you put that bed, so it's like a special dream bed. And you have to put that bed in your house. On my island, I actually keep my bed on the rocks in the northwest corner. And I have this little outdoor sleeping area. Not that you sleep in the game, but that's where my bed is. But it doesn't work from there. You have to be in the house. So put the bed in the house, and you sit on the bed. And then it says, do you want to go to sleep, or do you just want to hang out? And you go to sleep. And then, oh my God. Yeah.
Does it really give you that option? Because if you're not sleeping in bed, there's only one other thing that I can think of that you're doing, John.
Well, that'll be Wave 3. Summer Wave 3 update.
Okay. So anyways, so you chose go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, usually when you go into your bed, you can just lie there. It's like when you sit on a bench or whatever. So they're basically saying, do you want to just lie here, or do you want to go to sleep? So you say you go to sleep. And so there's a lot of dialogue here. I feel like they kind of broke the fourth wall a little bit. It's just a lot of dialogue, and then you have to read through an end user agreement and stuff like that.
Oh, weird.
So you can do 2 things. You can share your island, so basically make it available online, and they give you a big code, which is really weird. But it's like a friend code. It's not a dodo code. It's got to be longer. So it's this long kind of friend code thing. So anybody can go to my island and dream, okay? Or you say you want to go to somebody's island and they ask you for a dream code. Now, here's the deal. The reason why they're doing the dreaming is it allows you to visit somebody's island without them having to be online, without, being able to damage their island or just dork around or whatever. So it's really cool. And I think the best use for this is like YouTubers. I've seen so many videos where these serious Animal Crossing people, Bobby,
tours and stuff.
They do tours and whatever, but you can't visit their island because they got to sit there and spend the 2 minutes for you to jump in. So now they can just give out their code, and people can just go tour the island themselves, and it's in a dream state, and it's really cool. It's like you're on the island. there's a little bit of a blur going on, so it's kind of a cool little dream state thing. I was looking around to see if anyone like Bobby hadn't shared his island code and whatever. And I found this random one on a search, and it was like a Bat Island or something like that. And it was really cool. It was like this girl who had made like a very monochrome looking island. Now, obviously, trees and stuff are going to be regular color, but they had tons of black flowers and black items and stuff like that. It was really cool. Oh. If I redid my Animal Crossing, I would like go for like that kind of theme. It was cool.
Yeah.
And so I visited it. And it's like, okay, that's cool. So I think YouTubers would do really well to kind of let people kind of visit. But what would be really cool is if you could just dream to someone's island randomly. And I really hope they add it because they can. Just go to a random island and
has it open. Yeah.
I mean, when you go to the random islands, when you're doing like what do they call it? When you go to the islands and you start like harvesting all the wood and everything, you can't. I mean, they take away all your items when you go to an island. And you can pick up like fruits and stuff on the ground, but I don't even know if you can bring those back because you're in a dream. The only thing you can really do is get their designs. And it's funny because when I went to the island, I went to go to their shops, and it says if you go to the shop, it's closed, and it says the shop is closed for some strange reason or something. It's very weird. So they shut down a lot on the dreams. I don't think it's something that people will do a lot until there's something productive you can get by it. But I really hope, a lot of people with their cool islands do it. So,
it's another feature, another option. Like you said, the YouTubers, the streamers, all those type of things to now share it. Now, I will say, though, the kind of like the theme you talked about, what very well could bring me back to Animal Crossing is if they do some type of huge Halloween type event, because I am a sucker for Halloween and gloomy and spooky stuff. Sign me up.
Yeah.
So that I could possibly come back.
Oh, they absolutely will.
For something like that. Hopefully it's a nice, fun, long event.
Yeah. No, it's fun. Definitely. And then one last thing, they actually did add the island backup. They put it in the weirdest place. It's on the title screen. And literally twice I wanted to go see it and use it because I wanted to back up my island. And both times the title screen came up and I just reflexively pressed A to get to the game. And I was like, I had to like kill the game and then go back to the title screen. And it's this little thing in the bottom left corner, and it says press minus for backup options. And then Tom Nook comes out and gives another end user agreement, blah, 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 blah. Let me explain what resident removal is and all that. But you select it, and then when you're not playing the game, it will back up your island. Definitely something everybody should just do now. And I think it will continuously do it. I think it continuously does it.
Like every night? So how often is it doing it?
I don't know. I forget. But you might, if you have to do it multiple times, it's not something you just hit a button to do. You just turn it on. So I think from time to time it will do it. So if your Switch dies, you can get it recovered. So, and getting it recovered isn't easy. It's not like you press a button and you do it. It's sort of like, I think you have to have Nintendo do it.
Okay.
But just back it up. Doesn't hurt. So if you're going to bring up Animal Crossing, you should, hit minus on the title screen and get that done.
I will have to do that.
And now we can talk about Paper Mario.
Paper Mario. Wow.
We are not going to talk spoilers.
No.
I guess a little bit of an announcement. We, we were a little conflicted about doing spoilers. Drew and I have both finished the game. But we're not going to talk any spoilers here. So, but we're going to have another special bonus episode of Paper Mario review with spoilers. That'll pop up either Tuesday or Wednesday. And we're going to have a couple guests. So stick around to see who we have on the show. But that's the spoilers cast. Drew, don't spoil anything.
Well,
tell us
my pants, John.
Tell us about Paper Mario. You beat it.
I beat it. I went hard. No pun intended. 50 hours in 2 weeks, as you know, is a lot of gaming for me. And I'm going to say right off the bat, this was a game that my wife and my 2 kids and my dog Goomba fell in love with. So it makes it easier because I would play from like 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock because I was like, hey guys, you want me to put a show on for you while I make dinner? No, Daddy, like I want to watch you play Paper Mario, or my son would call it Mario Paper. But it was just the game that I needed. It was such a familiar, amazing game. I loved it. I loved every part of it. I loved exploring each world and trying to figure out what were they going to do different? And they did so many things different with the exploration, the collectibles of this, as we will get to, a completionist like heaven of things you need to do here.
Oh man.
But even each individual world, all the different like theming and areas that they had, I mean, it felt long, but I was okay with it. I never once was like, man, I wish this ended, or man, I hate this. Like, I just was taking it in and enjoying it and exploring every nook and cranny. Now, I will say for all those people out there that were a little skeptical about the game, because everybody saw the battle system when they announced this battle ring system was a little bit, man, I don't like that, because everyone wants the traditional turn-based type strategy. It grew on me. I was skeptical, but I said, it's Paper Mario. There's no chance in hell I'm not playing it, and I'm just going to have to suck it up and play it. I don't
know why everybody was so afraid of that system.
I don't know either, but yeah. I really was okay with it, John. It really grew on me. What I really loved about the battle system is one, it wasn't easy. I mean, in the beginning, it was easy. It kind of taught you the mechanics. And throughout the game, you can unlock things that make it a little bit easier for you, per se. But it was one of those battle systems that felt so rewarding. And all I'll say is, it's not a spoiler alert, the point of the battle system is you want to line them up in a straight line, right? Or you want to line them up in a little bundle of 4, group of 4, so you can hit them with your hammer. Or in a straight line, you just jump on them. Now, if you were able to solve, let's say, the puzzle and line them up, you had that extra bonus boost where, at 1.5 the damage, and you would probably kill most enemies in one turn.
Right.
So it was like that perfect amount of like, yeah, I figured it out. Awesome. And if you do, you get rewarded. If you can't figure it out, it's okay. But it just means you don't have to prepare. You don't have to play some defense and take some damage and fight back. So to me, it was awesome in that. But absolutely as a whole, without getting too much more detailed, I thought the game was fabulous. Like I said, so much exploring, so many cool new ideas that we've never seen in other Mario games. As far as, like I said, just the theming of the lands. Again, no spoilers, but some amazing stuff, jaw-dropping moments, some great comedy, some really good comedy, actually, just nitwitty and perfect. But overall, loved it. What about you, John?
Yeah, I when I first started playing it, I wasn't really loving it. I actually tweeted out I thought Color Splash was better so far. Mm-hmm. Having finished it all, I really had a good time with it. I thought I got more obsessed with it the second half of the game because I really wanted it to be over. So I just wanted to move on to some other games. Panzer Paladin had come out, and I was like, I really want to finish Paper Mario. And then by the time I finished it, I became absolutely addicted to the post-game stuff. And so I put in 2 weeks, I put in 55 hours on this game, and I was like shocked. I couldn't believe it. But I really have done nothing the last 3 days.
Remember when you said you were maybe not even going to play it, or you might not play it right away?
Oh, my wife was going to play it first, and then, she was busy with Ori. So, in fact, I told her I'm not even sure she would like it. But I do have some qualms with it. Early on in the game, you walk into this room and there's 6 pipes and they're all numbered. Mm-hmm. And you just came out of the 1 pipe and because you're in the first world. And I thought that was really dumb because when I play a game, I don't like to know how many hours it will be. I hate that. I want to feel like the game could be over within an hour all the time. So, I don't want to know how many hours. And that's just all that room told me was, oh, you're in World 1 and you've been in there for a few hours and there's 6 more. And it just kind of ruins the story experience. Like, wait, who built these pipes and how do they know what's going on? A castle was just kidnapped with ribbons and there's a room with 6 numbered pipes. I thought that was a little lazy on the team.
you're looking too far into
look,
that.
it's not my biggest complaint, but it made me feel like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. I enjoyed the battle system. I thought people were being, frankly, like dumb because it was like, it was different or whatever. Look, I've played all the Paper Mario games except for the original. Honestly, which is weird, but I don't like the N64.
Whoa, you've never played the original?
No, I don't like the N64. Maybe one day I'll try it, but
John.
But I've played all the Paper Mario games. I've played all the Mario and Luigi games, right? And they're all kind of similar. And sometimes they mix, like Paper Jam. And look, the battle system with the hammer and the boots, I love that battle system. But we've had it several times already. Like, it's okay to do something new, guys. Like, we have to have the battle system. So I really loved the circular battle system. And early on in the game, they were like super easy. And you're like, okay, well, let's make this a little more tricky.
Yep.
And then they did it. And the only thing I didn't like about it is that, not that there's no XP, it's just there wasn't much motivation to battle. Some of those battles, they just take a couple minutes.
Yes and no. But I will say, John, I have felt like in previous Paper Mario games, I was avoiding enemies a lot more than I try to here. And maybe that's for two reasons. I think a lot of the older ones, even like the 1,000-Year Door, which was so good, had a lot of like side-scrolling almost play where it was hard to kind of miss that enemy, right? Yeah. It was more difficult. Here, it's a much more open, almost isometric bird-eye view where I feel like it was a lot easier to miss the enemies. So you didn't have to fight them all if you didn't want to. I think it was a lot easier to avoid them. Yeah. But I definitely found myself. So there's two reasons, right, to fight enemies. One was to get coins, and one was to get confetti. So there was times I definitely fought some, like in whether it was at a temple or somewhere. I was like, man, I'm running low on confetti. I could use some, you know?
Right. Yeah. Oh, and yes, exactly. Because I was gonna say, like, the coins you get from, like, a lot of confetti you get from trees. You get confetti from everywhere.
Yeah. Coin was never
you can tell there were some areas in the game where they intentionally starved you of confetti so that you had to go fight a couple people.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And a lot of times there was a lot of battles that were just part of the progression of the game. Like, you have to fight this battle to advance in the game, and that's fine. I love grinding. I like fighting enemies over and over again, and then you get the experience, you get the gold. I found myself constantly just trying to avoid enemies in this game, which is weird because there is a trophy in the game where every time you fight a new enemy, you get like a picture. And you have to get them all. And it's funny, as one of the last trophies that I had gotten was like accidental. But there is, I don't know if you remember, there is one time in the game you see this one particular enemy. He only shows up one time.
In the tunnel.
To the rainbow spa. And it's the little black dude that circles around the blocks. You know, they always have those guys. Yeah. And there's only one in the entire game. And I skipped him, and I said, I think you have to fight all the enemies. And right at the end of the game, I was headed to the Rainbow Spa to do one of the final achievements. Mm-hmm. And I saw him, and I was like, you know what? He's easy to skip. Like, there's no motivation to attack him. And I was like, let me just hit him. And I hit him, and I beat him, and then it unlocked a trophy. And I was like, yeah! I'm so glad I did.
Was he the only one post-game that you didn't need for the enemies?
I mean, there's no post-game area in Paper Mario, which was a little disappointing, I guess. But yeah, I didn't. During the game, I just went right under him.
See, there was two enemies I was missing.
Oh, was there? Was that one of them?
No.
Oh, you're still missing two.
No, I found them. There was the one in World 4 near the tower. They were outside of the tower, flying around. They were the flying Shy Guys.
Okay.
And then the other one was the Goomba in the shoe Goomba.
Oh, I see. Yes.
But he was in the tunnel.
It's easy to miss him because you're not really motivated to fight him, but
it's difficult because sometimes they're like the shoe Goomba was hidden in another enemy. So you have to fight a Goomba, and then inside there you see a shoe Goomba.
I see. I'll say this, if you haven't played Paper Mario yet, and you are going to play, if you plan on 100%ing the game, just fight the enemies because you're going to need to. I mean, don't sit there and just grind and whatever, but fight all the enemies because there is a trophy for collecting 300,000 gold. And at some point, you're just going to have to do it. So it's okay. Like, and you need money. There's things in the game that are expensive. A couple times, like some dude's trying to sell you some item for like 20,000 gold. And you're like, no, because you don't know. I mean, like, I did like the system where your basic boots and your basic hammer are you can use forever.
Yep.
And then the other items, like, versus like a game like Sticker Star, where if you have iron boots, you can use them one time, and that sucks. In this one, you can buy them, you can find them, and you can use them, and they'll actually use like 6 or 7 times before they break. So they do break, but they're really cool because it's not just breaks one time. So you can save them up. They had a really nice system for you can have a few of those in your inventory and go. I, of course, did the thing where I saved my legendary items for the very end. And then, of course, you're like, oh, I have tons of these now.
Oh, yeah.
And you can buy them. The legendary items lasted a lot longer, too, which was really nice.
I thought
that system worked really well.
I loved that system. I agree. Yeah. At first, I wasn't sure how they were going to do it, know? But I don't know. Overall, guys, if you were ever on the fence about this because of the system or anything about it, I highly recommend giving it a go. You will not be disappointed. I truly believe that. I think the game was just fabulously well done. And like I said, my favorite part was to see what each little area or land was going to be themed next, because that stuff's awesome. So, absolutely amazing game. Paper Mario and the Origami King. For me, probably one of the best games I've played all year, and definitely one of the best games I've played on the Nintendo Switch. I'll hold that to it.
I wouldn't say it's the best game I played all year. Best. I think it might be the highest hour game that I've played. No, Xenoblade would go before that, but yeah.
Not by much. How much was Xenoblade?
It was like 65 hours.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's really good.
But all I'll say is I look back at Xenoblade, right, because I just finished that before this, and now I play Paper Mario, and roughly about the same time, like you said, between 5 and 10 hour difference. It's funny because there was times during Xenoblade I had a hard time picking up my Switch, John, and I'll be honest about that. Some of it was just dragged out. Some of the dialogue was very long, and Paper Mario was the opposite, where I could never put it down. I think I texted you the other day and I said, John, I just played 5 straight hours of Paper Mario. I woke up, it was 7 o'clock. I played all the way to noon. And then my family was into it. We were playing it, and we were just like, holy shit, it's lunchtime. Yeah. Like, it was one of those games, and, couldn't put it down.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good game. Good, solid game.
We got some more stuff to talk about, though, John, right?
We've got a main topic. Let's get to this one. All right, the topic for this week, Drew, is hard. Hard games.
Oh, games. Okay.
Yeah, hard games.
Getting hard.
We had a little discussion about this week, talking about some hard games, and do you love them? Do you hate them? So, I mean, this is a broad topic, but just to start off, how do you like your games? Do you like your games hard? Do you like them casual? What do you think?
Rock hard. No. For me, I'd say a casual game with a small dose of optional hardness, right? So what I mean by that is, I hate to just say this, but this Paper Mario is the perfect example of this, where the game is casual and you can go along and play it and have fun. The battle system is hard. I'm not going to lie. Some of those puzzles and boss battles are hard, but you don't always have to do exactly solving. You don't have to solve them, let's say, exactly to beat the game, but it makes it easier for you to beat the game. So in that situation, I enjoy games that are casual with hard elements that maybe are optional. for you to get through. Like, if you put one little wall up that says like you have to beat this to move on, and it's super difficult, to me that's a turnoff.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Paper Mario had that. It was, I wouldn't say it was casual. It was challenging at points.
It was challenging. You're right.
But the post game, like if you're into the post game was hard as fuck. I mean, I didn't think I was going to finish it. In fact, I rage quit last night and somehow ended up finishing it today.
Well, I'm gonna finish it. I just ran out of time, but I'm close. I'm very close.
But I'm the same way. I like sometimes I'll play a game. So here's a good example. The Stretchers. That was the co-op game with the ambulance. I didn't really love the game. And it's only a few hours long. I think it took me 4 hours. Didn't love the game, but as soon as I finished it, I had more fun with it because you had to do this like whole set of challenges and they were harder. It was like, find all of this, find all of that. And I really enjoyed that. And I agree with you. My favorite games are definitely not easy. I don't like easy games. It just doesn't feel like satisfying. I like a challenging game, but nothing super hard. But then you can go ahead and do some super hard things to fully complete it. That being said, I do love me some hard games. And my favorite hard games to play are platformers. I love really difficult platformers. And some of my favorites are some of my favorite games of all time. So Celeste, obviously, is a favorite of mine. Super Meat Boy, Cuphead, those kinds of games. Ghosts and Goblins is another extremely difficult platformer. I don't know I guess it is a platformer. But there's something about trying to do something that a lot of other people can't do. It gives me an extra motivation to say, because it was the expression like if it's easy, it's not worth doing, right? So it's fun to like try to do something, and you don't need PlayStation trophies or network. Sometimes it's just fun to say, yeah, I beat that game. I got through it and I feel good about myself. I don't need to say it to you for you to say to me, you're amazing. I just like knowing that in my head, and that it's like, I did beat that game. That was a legit accomplishment. So yeah, I love me some hardness. Are there any game? What would you say is the most difficult game that you've beaten in the last, maybe like on Switch?
Yeah. Honestly, I would have to lean towards Cuphead as far as a straight, skillful, difficult game that made you want to just repeat, memorize the pattern. You have to have good hand-eye coordination to physically move your player around. I think that is a game that's a difficult game. And I bet there's a lot of people out there that couldn't get through that game for many reasons. Yeah. But I'd say Cuphead is a hard game. But you kind of know that going into it, right? So it's not one of those weird,
It doesn't jump out at you, right?
It does not. You know that going right into it, right? The other genre of hard games I want to talk about is I don't know if I'd even call it hard, but it is in a sense where it can make you rage quit, is where you have a lot of games that have like an unknown pattern or game of luck or things along that nature, which are hard even though it's out of your control. So it's an element of out of your control, right? So I look back when I played on the Switch, like the Lion King, Aladdin, old school Sega games. And I know old school games in general are a little bit difficult to judge right now. But like, for example, the Lion King, there's that stupid level when you have to go through the monkeys throw you around the screens and stuff like that. And it's kind of a pattern that you really have to figure out and memorize it. And it's just, it blows, right? It's just hard to do.
That reminds me though of different, like you said, different kinds of hard games, right? And so that's kind of the trial and error. And what's interesting is, because you played that recently, and I'm not sure if you used Rewind or anything, but...
Oh, I did.
Like, when you play Cuphead, it is difficult, but some people can handle the difficulty, and some people can't. And I'm maybe talking about my wife, who gets extremely stressed out when she plays games. Like, watching her play Ori this weekend, she was so stressed out, she didn't even want to talk to me. But when you play Cuphead, you might play a boss and die 10, 15 times. But there's something about that game that keeps you going. And what is it, right? What makes a hard game frustrating versus what makes a hard game fun and satisfying? And like, so when you played Cuphead, was there like a time where you were like ready to quit, or did you find it easy? But like,
I don't think ready to quit, but there is always the point in that game, right? And luckily we had Monthly Mayhem going on at the time, and we had to show our true colors in that game. But there's definitely a point where you get to like, am I having fun, right? Because there's a few different types of gamers, right? There's types of gamers that play video games to de-stress. There's people that are just playing it for a hobby, and it's just they're going to complete it and they want to prove it and they want to do all the trophies. I know you like those. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But there's a point that if I'm playing Cuphead and I'm getting aggravated, I'm not one that would ever throw a controller or get angry or anything like that. That's not me. But if I'm not having fun because I can't beat this damn boss, you got to decide at that point, is this not for me, or am I, or do you, or the other way, do you switch, do you put the switch on and say, now I'm determined to beat this?
Yeah, that's definitely me.
So I typically am that, but I think there's always a factor of, am I having fun? I will never continue to play a video game if I'm just not having fun. If I'm not enjoying it, I'm not one to go beat it and say, I have to beat this. I spent $60, or I have to do this for whatever reason. I'm not one of those. If I'm not having fun, I'm not going to play anymore. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I me, like when a game gets tough, I turn on that switch, right? And even as recently as this morning, right, where I just would not let Paper Mario defeat me. Here's a fun thing. So back in the day, I played Dark Souls because I had heard how hard the game is. So I'm like, yep, well, we're playing this fucker, and I played through it, and it was hard, and there was lots of death and wailing and turning systems off and whatever, but I got through it and beat it. And it's one of my favorite games. And when they announced it for the Switch, I was totally on board. Like, sweet. Because the thing that's great about Dark Souls is you can play through the game as different characters. So there's a lot of replayability there. I can play as a magic user and play as a warrior and a thief and that sort of thing. And so I got Dark Souls remastered, and I started playing it, I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago. And I got to a point where I was like, I kept dying, and I just rage quit. I was like, done. And I did. Yep. I deleted my save data, and that's it. And
smart. Once you delete it, no going back.
Well, there was 2 reasons why that happened this time. One is the reason why I kept dying was because I literally didn't know where to go. And Dark Souls has this issue where it's a little dark.
That's
and
a good point.
You don't always know where to go. And so if the world is very open, and you can go to places that you are not ready for, and you will die quickly. And I was like going in all these different directions, and I kept just getting overwhelmed and dying to the point where I didn't know where to go. And I was frustrated. But normally I would keep going. But then I stopped because I said, you know what? I beat Dark Souls already. Okay, I beat it years ago. I don't need this. And so that desire to beat the game was gone because I had done it already. You know, I was like, I'm not in the mood for this now.
But you know what? That's an excellent point, because I can think back memories of sitting on my old little DOS computer playing like King's Quest, right? And how many times that we've all played King's Quest. And I'll be honest. The same thing with the Black Cauldron, which is pretty much the same game, different skin.
Yeah. Whatever. King's Quest is a legend. Nobody's played Black Cauldron.
It's Sierra. It's the same fucking game.
Sure.
I can remember there would be like 2 years of me playing the same fucking first hour of the game, because after that you're like, oh man, I got the bread. I went to the cupboard. I lit the fire. I put the soup in the pot. What the fuck do I do next? And it's like, you didn't care. You just kept playing that hour because you had fun. You enjoyed it. And you're like, maybe someday I'll figure out what I'm supposed to do, And that's a perfect example of the game's hard, But at what point is it like just still enjoyable? And for whatever reason, that goes back to my memory right there. And those type of point and click games, or games in general, that you said with Dark Souls, is what do I do next? Where do I go? And back then you didn't have the internet to look it up. So nowadays, I think that's also part of it. I think
there's less games too to distract you.
Well, there's games that aren't as hard, but you also have the internet to help you, right? I mean, I think me and you both already admitted that we've used the internet to help with our 100% completionist of Paper Mario.
Yes.
Same. And I don't think there's a shame in that.
You need to. I mean, you really need to.
Which makes it a fun, good, game.
Yeah.
It takes it a little bit hardcore level.
I don't like that. See, when a game is hard.
Well, listen, I don't know if that's true. Paper Mario gives you a lot of things to help you. I think you could beat Paper Mario 100% without the internet. However, you might be spending 80 to 100 hours, not 55.
Yeah.
It's doable. That's a fact.
I know. There are definitely some games that you just have to look online, and I hate that. And Paper Mario has some places where you have to cheat to win, and I hate that. But we'll talk about that on tonight's episode.
Okay.
I have a game. Have you ever played Tumbleseed?
Tumbleweed?
Tumbleseed.
Not the point and click tumbleweed game.
Okay, so Tumbleseed's a great example of hard games that are a little bit unfair. This is the game. It reminded me when I was a kid and I would go to the arcades. They have those machines where, and they're like mechanical machines where you have this metal bar, and then you can control each side of the metal bar, and on the bar is a ball. And if you bring the right side up, it'll go down. I forget the name of the game. I used to think it was called Tapper, but it's not. I think it's called like Beer or something or whatever. Anyway, there's holes in the wall, and you have to bring the ball to the top into the victory hole. Whatever.
Oh, John, what kind of game are you playing?
So you have to balance the ball, and you have to if there's a hole that you don't want it to go through, and you got to bring it aside. Anyway, they made a digital version of this game. Look it up. It's called Tumbleseed. And I just brought back memories. And so, this was like early. This is the first year of the Nintendo Switch, and I bought it. And I had so much fun with it. And I think it's considered a roguelike.
Yeah. That's fun.
You have to go through all 4 or 5 levels in a row. And if you die, you have to start from the beginning again. And eventually they did add it so you can do the levels individually. And I didn't play it until after that update happened. But I can play that game, and I'm really good at it. And I've never been able to beat it because the 5th level, I think it's the 5th level, there are holes everywhere. Like where in the beginning it's like, oh, there's holes here and there, and you got to be careful and get around slowly. And keep in mind, there's enemies coming at you too. The 5th level is like a wall of holes. And to balance the ball to get through the tiniest little spaces is so frustrating while enemies are coming at you. Even if there were no enemies in the game, it would be next to impossible. But then you have enemies coming at you.
This is a fun little game.
It is a fun little game that you'll never beat. You'll never beat it. Oh, you could probably wait till it's on sale for like $3. You'll never beat it because it's just so unfair. And I think that is a line that games have to straddle, where it's difficult but not unfair. And so like when you play a game like Celeste, you might die. I mean, I've done levels that have taken me 2 hours to get through on Celeste. Not regular levels. I'm talking about in like the Farewell DLC. Just one screen took me 2 hours to get through. But when you die, you just immediately restart. And so you can deal with it. And Tumbleseed, when you're trying to get through a wall of holes, and then when you die a few times, the game ends, and then you have to start from the very beginning again. That shit is when hard games become kind of ridiculous. Yeah. And I think it's a battle for game designers to not cross that line where the game feels incredibly frustrating. You know, you have to make it so it's challenging, but the player has to believe that they can do it.
100%. I agree, because at that point, what's the point, right? You want your people to, or you want your users to be able to play the game and beat it, or else, it goes the longevity of it. 100% agreed.
Yeah.
So that's great. I mean, I think there's a lot of different avenues to look at games and what makes them difficult. And I think we did a good job at kind of putting the retro side stuff aside, because I think we all kind of know how those are. And I think the controllers and the way that works is a completely different type of hard than, let's say the Switch era and on, or even a little bit before that. But I think it's great stuff, great combo. And I think that's all I really have. John, you have anything else? Or
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I asked this, but like, are there any games that you couldn't beat? Like, is there anything that you gave up on? Because I have a little list of Switch games here, and
I don't know if there's anything I've given up on as far as I will, for some weird reason, this is popping out at me, and it's not really a difficulty thing, but it goes back to that random, chance.
Yeah.
Mario Party 5 GameCube. This is so random. That was the one where you would go around the board and you'd have the little gumball machines everywhere, and you would get capsules, and your capsules were your items.
Right.
In Mario Party 5, there was a capsule called the Miracle Orb. And now, we used to play 50-turn games to try to do this. If somebody could get... The Miracle Orbs were impossible to get. You would need one person to get all 3 Miracle Orbs. If somebody did that, all of the stars from the first place person would be transferred to the last place person. I tried for years, John. We used to save up orbs to orbs like that. You could swap orbs with people. We never did it. So at my point, that's just a stupid hard because it was a game of chance. Now, why that's sticking out to me, I don't know, but I never did it, and that hurts me.
Right, but that's not like a lack of accomplishment, right? It's just it's respecting your time.
It was out of my control.
Right, you have a set of time. Yeah,
I tried quite a bit.
The game. There are several games on the Switch that I haven't beaten. Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon is a game I haven't beaten, and I mention it because I really want to. In fact, I might start playing it again this month. I've never beaten it, and I really want to. I just can't deal with the bullet hell. I think I might have gotten to the 4th level one time, but forget it. Binding of Isaac is really hard. I beat it. When you beat the game the first time, quote unquote, you have to get through a longer run to get the true beating of the game. Another one that comes to mind is Thumper, which I played not too long ago.
Oh yeah, yep.
And it's a rhythm game. I physically couldn't do it. It was so fast, and the graphics were so sporadic. I physically couldn't do it, and I had to stop.
That's the same. One More Bounce, whatever the hell it's called. I never beat that one.
Super. Yes. Oh yes.
That's a good one. That was a tough one. That was a tough, hard game.
I think I got up to the second to last level, or the last level, I think.
Now, if that's something I really wanted to pursue, maybe. I'm not saying I could, maybe. But that's definitely a game. I think I played it 15 hours, Monthly Mayhem. And it was like, I'm not having fun anymore. What's the point of me continuing this?
I enjoyed that game as hard as it was.
I did.
Some of the levels were really long, and you had to maintain attention.
Yep.
But the thing about that game that really sucked was the second to last level. The physics of the game change.
I remember. I think I was on the same level there.
I don't know.
I didn't. Yes, I made it far, but I didn't do as many of the completions.
Oh, the crystals?
I didn't do the crystals, so I played straight game. I said, I'm not going to complete it, but I wanted to beat it. That was my goal. But you're right. I think it was the second to last level. It was weird.
Beat it. Yeah, they require you to jump much earlier, and all of a sudden your jumping is completely out of rhythm with the previous 12 hours of the game.
It was like double, triple jumping, and it was weird. I agree.
Yeah. I would love to finish that game off. It's 2 more levels.
I'm going to boot it up and see.
I might have to try that again. But right now I would say the hardest game on the Switch is Crypt of the Necrodancer, the original.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. It breaks my brain. I've beaten each level individually, but to truly beat the game, you have to go through all 5 levels in a row, and I can barely get to the second level. I mean, I love the Zelda Necrodancer game, But if you ask me what the hardest game on the Switch is, I'm going to say Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Oh, good. I'm not picking that up then.
Yeah. But it's doable. I'll say it's doable.
Okay.
Thumper, I'll never do. I just can't. But maybe you and I should have a little contest to see who can beat Super One More Jump.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not worry about crystals or anything. Just beat the game.
Just get through the last 2 levels. I don't even know what the last level looks like.
It would take me an hour or two just to get like the rhythm of that game back in my mind again.
Luckily, there's no elements to the game that you have to recall. It's just one. No,
it's just one button, and it's go
for it. That's possible. I might do that. Let's make that a little challenge for us. Maybe next 2 weeks.
We should imagine streaming that just head to head.
Here's our 12-hour stream of the last 2 levels.
We're not stopping until one of us beat it.
Oh my god.
I want to look. I'm pretty sure I'm in the same level, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Take a look and see. I'm curious.
All right, I'll let you know.
All right, let's wrap this up. We've got a few listener questions we'll get through. Let's take a look. All right, listener questions. We came and asked you guys, tell us about your hard games. And Tim, Nintendo Dad, wrote in. He said, too hard is when it's hard for too long. No matter what you do or if someone is giving you a hand, it just stays hard. I hate it when it just goes on forever. I'm getting too old for hard games like that. We were talking about hard games, right?
It's like that time, John, after sets when you have to pee. What do?
Oh.
You have to wait it out, you know?
Do you?
I need to invent some type of funnel that I can pee into that just...
Oh, you got to do the lean forward on the toilet sitting down. You can't stand up for that. It's too dangerous.
You should go in the shower, but then it might get messy.
Yeah, you could get hurt.
Well, that's another... Some people have, take showers after sets. Man, that's a whole episode.
That was a different episode. Next question we got from Togobat. Yes, I have one question. Why are you doing 2 episodes tonight?
Great question.
Very timely.
Very good.
Yes, so as we said before, we're going to have a special episode that we're going to be recording right now. It will be out later in the week. It is going to be our Paper Mario spoilers review. And you might see more of these in the future. I don't want to commit to anything, but you might start getting some review bonus episodes. So keep an eye out. But we really want to do these spoiler episodes separately so we don't have to worry about, people skipping ahead. And if we're going to talk about Paper Mario for 10 minutes, I don't want to say skip ahead 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We want to give the fans...
We want to blow our load. We want to blow our load and just get after that there. Absolutely.
Right. So it's nice and easy to skip an entire episode. It'll say spoilers, so we'll make it nice and easy. Next question from Chris HL94. Anyone still playing Clubhouse games? My son and I got it this weekend, and I am looking for some online games.
I think I know a little guy named Zablock who would be happy to play.
Well, now that I'm out of my Paper Mario addiction, I might relax a little bit, play some chess.
I'll play golf. I'm always down for some golf.
It's pretty good. Clubhouse Games really is one of the best online games on Nintendo. Good pickup, Chris HL. Yeah, and I'm really glad I got it digitally. It makes it much easier.
Agreed.
All right, next one, Block Fort Retro. Another name change for Block Fort.
He changed his name again?
Yeah, he went from Block Fort. He was at Cat Janitor. He's done everything.
No, he added the retro.
And he used to be a lurker, a self-admitted lurker in the group.
That. It's in Discord. I just didn't even notice the change.
Interesting.
Very.
Which male Nintendo character would you make out with? I'm going to preface this question, Drew, with you have to pick one. And if there's a little more base action after the makeout, then so be it. Just be honest.
A little nipple twirl to clockwise position, you're saying.
Yeah. So
that's a great makeout move for anybody out there that needs some advice. little nipple pull and rubbage goes a long way. I don't know. You go first.
God, that's a tough one. When it comes to Nintendo, I think it's, start thinking about links and whatever, but I tend to cheat a little bit, and I look to the Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem's a great way to get out of that. So if I'm going to pick, I'm going to say Crom. I think I'd go down on Crom. And let me tell you why.
Wow.
Because Fire Emblem Awakening is my, favorite 3DS game by far. And he's awesome. He's great. And I chose the female lead character in that game. I actually named her Michelle after my wife. And he was always really nice with Michelle. And he never made advances on Michelle. And eventually Michelle did, marry Crom and they had a baby. But I felt like Crom was just very respectful because in that game, your character is discovered in a field and you have amnesia. And, he could have just, taken advantage of the situation. He didn't. So I feel like, if I'm gonna man cuddle, it's gonna be with Crom.
It's funny because first of all, I didn't see this question. It kind of snuck up on me. But a make-out is definitely a lot different than just little pet on the cheek type thing.
Right.
So I'm kind of torn here. Do I go more of the realistic road like you, or do I go more of the cartoonish road? And if I feel like I'm making out with somebody, I'm going all in, right? Fuck. I'm going to say 2. I'm going to say, if this is something I'm looking for a relationship with, I'm going to go just like my favorite, hottest character of all time and go the male version of the Wii Fit trainer. Now, if I'm just having a one-night stand, I feel like the right and only answer here is a Boo, because that guy is going to shove that tongue down your throat deep, and he's going to get some good action in there.
But when you look at him, he's just gonna clam up. It's all.
That's true.
So you're gonna have to turn away from him, and you know what that means.
He's gonna be licking my asshole. Oh boy.
Wait, what about male Wii Fit trainer with female Wii Fit trainer?
I'll take that. I take that right now. Fact.
Can you imagine? I mean, I would feel a little less confident about my body in that threesome.
That's okay.
But it would be fun. Imagine the moves they would do on each other. I could probably end up watching for a while. That would be fascinating. Downward facing dog.
Wow. Could we isn't Dan a animator? Can he make that happen for us?
I think he can make that happen.
I feel like that did a lot of views.
Could he make some bumpers for our show?
We Fit Sex.
We Fit Sex.
Oh, Jesus.
I think you'd do that for the right price.
Unfortunately, our budget is 0, John.
You know what? I can find some budget. Why don't you sell your NES Lego set and put the money to real use?
We'll just give up a few monthly Mayhem cash prizes so we can make that happen.
Okay. I wonder if the Nintendo dads would allow us to add those bumpers to the YouTube version of our show.
Jeez.
Oh,
that'd be great.
Oh, we should get going, Drew.
We should. Let's wrap it up because it was a fun episode, but we have another one to record, and it's past my bedtime already. So we want to thank the Nintendo dads for letting us be part of the big Nintendo Dads Family podcast. Remember to subscribe to the Dads After Dark Show podcast and all your favorite podcast apps. We're pretty much everywhere. And also, if you want to be part of our awesome, cool community, you're going to have to head over to the Nintendo Dads Patreon page and subscribe there, because we have our own Dads After Dark channel in our Discord. It gives you monthly Mayhem access, which, reminder, that wraps up August. Give me a second. 16th-ish?
Oh, we got time. Oh,
yeah. We have some time. So August
for our next recording date.
Yeah, we have some time there. Make sure you are playing either Paper Mario Origami King or Donkey Kong Country over on the Super Nintendo, or also Nintendo Online. But if you really want to be part of all the cool stuff, head over to Twitter, because that's where John is actively putting some amazing stuff up there. Every time I log on there, it gives me a giggle. That is at the letter N, Dads After Dark. Send us questions on there. Let us know what you thought. So the show, comments, all that good stuff. And that's my little sign off. But John, what do we have going on the next couple of weeks?
You're fucking nothing. There's nothing. And there's no directs. There's nothing. I looked through all the games that are coming out. There's nothing. Okay, there's like Boomerang Foo or something like that. No one fucking cares. So yeah, there's nothing. I mean, I'm sure there's something for somebody. But now's a good time to work on the backlog, and I'm going to be playing Panzer Paladins starting tonight. I have a few. I'm kind of making August my official revisiting of games, and I think I mentioned Enter the Gungeon, and I'm going to play the final story of Fire Emblem. I'm going to do the Golden Deer. So yeah, you guys should all do the same. Find something else because Nintendo is not giving you anything.
Good for them.
I don't know a single date of a game coming out. It's crazy. So nothing.
But
nothing,
right.
Drew. Nothing.
That's it. Nothing. Just like us. But thank you everybody for listening. We hope you enjoyed this amazing episode. This was fun. Peace.
It's fucking nothing. Later, Dan.